Everything in existence, when you cut it off from its source of life, it begins to die. And it is certainly the case as well with the human heart. When you cut it off from its source of life, the masjid, dhikr, Quran, Muslim companionship, remembrance of Allah, salah, tawbah, it also begins to die. For example, our roadman brother, when he started doing what he started, there was a huge amount of guilt that was consuming him. It didn't feel right. This just isn't me. Then with the passage of time, that guilt began to subside and lessen. Until that guilt disappeared completely, it became normal. Then you began to enjoy what you are doing, what you are peddling, what you are pushing out into the community, how you were dancing before a camera. It became enjoyable. Then it became a thrill. Then it became an ecstasy that you can't do without. Then the heart continued to die until you were ready to kill for it. But no matter how low you go, one thing you are never willing to do is die upon that thing. You can't meet Allah Jalla Jalaluhu in that state. I share with you a promise that Allah Jalla Jalaluhu has made. What is that promise? Those who love to see immorality spread among the believers, they are to expect a severe punishment in this world and in the hereafter. You are in plain sight of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. Let me tell you what the gangster's paradise looks like. And then you choose who to believe. The music artist who tells you it's a paradise, or Allah who tells you it is suffering in dunya. What does the paradise look like? It looks like a 4x5 cell. Dark and dingy, where you're sharing one toilet with 2 or 3 other people from the same cell who don't know anything about tahara and wudu and ghusl. The gangster's paradise looks like a cell whereby when you finish with your toothbrush, you hand it over to security because you can't be trusted with a toothbrush. The gangster's paradise looks like a can of tuna that you have for dinner. If you're a good boy, maybe you'll have some unflavored noodles as well. One phone call a day you can make to your mother, and even that phone call is tapped by the security. Why? Because you can't be trusted on the phone. Toilet roll finishes, you put in another application like a slave for your second toilet roll. And then you have a job. How much do you get paid? 30p an hour. So you do a full-time job of 36 hours a week, that's £9.60 a week. And back in the days you started serving up crack to your community because you weren't happy living on minimum wage. £10 an hour, £9 an hour. What am I going to do with that? That's fine. You go live off now £10 a week. And then you're down and you're depressed and you're anxious, you're scared, you're lonely. You weren't expecting this outcome. You thought you'd be the one who'd evade the feds. You start thinking about your mother now who sat on the stairs crying. You start thinking about the siblings now who are left with no role model. You start thinking about this religion that you have betrayed. So you start running around now the prison looking for your Muslim chaplain to cry to him. What a loss. What a lowly way to end as a Muslim. How else do they suffer? They live a state of humiliation and disgrace. They are embarrassed. That's why they can't come in the public and say to people, I'm a pimp, I'm a slinger, I run the fields. No one can say that. They're embarrassed, so they hide their identity. That is a life of degradation. That's a life of shame. And that is why Al-Hasan al-Basri, he said, speaking about these people, he said, it doesn't matter how expensive the rides may be that they're upon. And it doesn't matter how amazing their swagger may be. But the shame of sin can be seen from their faces because Allah has promised to disgrace those who disobey Him. This is the promise of Allah. They suffer in this world before the hereafter. How else do they suffer? You will say to me, tell us more about this gangster's paradise. I say to you, they are a people of fear. They can't walk a straight line on the streets during the day or night without looking over their shoulders because there is somebody you have beef with. You fear that someone is going to snake you. You can't even go to the bathroom without carrying straps with you, a tool in your pocket. Why? Because you're scared. You can't sleep. So they go on benders 2-3 days in a row, high as a kite, snorting up coke all night just to get 2 or 3 hours in. Mental health issues. Fear. How else do they suffer in the life of this world? Look at the ending of a lot of them. How do they live? And how do they die? And at what age? And that's a question nobody speaks to you about, which is, how come there's no elders in this game? Why are they all 18-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds max? Then you have this cutoff. How come? Where are the elders? How do they end? Pablo Escobar dying at the age of 44, the bullet going through his ear. Tupac Amaru Shakur, bullet wounds to his lungs, dying at the age of 25. Biggie, with a bullet going through his hip, cutting through his colon, stopping off at his shoulder, dying at the age of 24. Old school examples, you know about them. But this is the promise of the Nabiyyul Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam, who said, you are going to imitate the ways of the people before you. You're going to copy them handspan by handspan, foot by foot. Even if they were to go inside of the hole of a lizard, you will follow them and you'll enter that hole right behind them. The companions, they said, are you referring to the Jews and the Christians? He said, who else am I talking about? When you behave like that, and you forget your identity, your heritage as a Muslim, you have betrayed your trust to Allah. You know a lot of these people, why they behave the way they do, why they snort up crack, why they tattoo themselves, why they inject, why they try to find their identity in the music industry, why they do these things? Because they're broken inside. A lot of them come from broken families. They are lost. What is a man like me gonna do in this world? So they try to find some identity, some pride in this. You, however, as a Muslim, Allah has given you answers. You know, this is the problem. You know the secret to success. You know the potion to happiness. It's this statement here. La ilaha illallah. Muhammadur Rasulullah. Allah has given it to you free of charge. And instead of serving this religion to the people, you serve them up crack and you say it's okay because they are kuffar. Who is more of a criminal in your eyes? Is it the average Tom, Dick and Harry who doesn't help ill people? He's no doctor. Or is it the doctor who has the antidote but he hides it from the people? Who is more of a criminal in your eyes? Who is more of a criminal, the one who has no money and so he looks past the masakin, the poor, or the one who has money but then he looks over the poor people? Who is more of a criminal in your eyes? And so in the same vein, I ask you, who is more of a criminal in your eyes? Is it the non-Muslim, the miskeen, who does not have answers to the happiness and secret to success in life? Or is it the Muslim like you know? And instead of putting a beautiful picture for Islam, for a people who need it, you hide it away. And you chase after their lifestyle. So they say this religion can't be from God. It can't be divine. Why? Because if it was going to work for me, it would have worked for you. We as Muslims are supposed to be picking people up from kufr, from disbelief, from confusion, from misery. What have we become? What is a man? What is a man today in the eyes of many of our youth? A man is someone who is wearing a iced out Rolex, a 1,000 pound Armani jacket. He's sat in a Bugatti, a black girl on one side, maybe a white girl on the other side. Girls from high school that they're helping him out in his video, in his fake image. And serving up crack to his community and singing about what he snorts up in the evening. That's a man, according to many of our brothers and sisters. What is a man? Men are whom Allah Jalla Jalaluhu has described in the Quran when He said, men, they are those who are not distracted by business and commerce from the remembrance of Allah and the establishment of the prayer and the giving of zakah, because they fear a day in which eyes and hearts will turn. That is the day of judgment. They are men according to Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. Rijal. You want to know what a man looks like? Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that is a man of a small build, not the finest of appearances, radiallahu anhu, but that was a man. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam passes away, droves of new Muslims, they leave their religion. And they try to change Islam by saying, no more zakah, we don't pay it. Abu Bakr says, we will fight them until they pay the zakah. It's the right of the poor. Nobody agreed with Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. The entire Muslim community was against him. Even mighty Umar himself radiallahu anhu, he says, leader of the believers, we're not ready for this war yet. And Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu grabs him by his clothes and pulls him to his knees. And he says to him, you were a tyrant when you weren't a Muslim. And now that you've become a Muslim, you've become a coward? He said, no more revelation from Allah. And their religion now is perfect. Do you think I will allow anyone to weaken this religion when I am alive? That is a man. What is a man? I tell you what a man looks like. Amr ibn al-As radiallahu anhu is busy conquering Egypt. And he struggles to finish the conquering. And so he sends a letter to Amirul Mu'mineen Umar in Medina saying, I need men. Help me finish this job. I need reinforcements. Umar sends him a letter. He says to him, I'm going to send you 4,000 men. They wait. 4 men turn up. Amr ibn al-As, he says, I told you we need men, we need reinforcements. You promised us thousands, you've sent us 4. He said, I have sent you 4,000 men. Because that is Zubayr ibn al-Awwam. And that is Ubadah ibn al-Samit. And that is Maslama ibn Makhlad. And that is Al-Miqdad ibn al-Aswad. Every one of those 4 men is equivalent to 1,000 men. What is a man? A man is Umar radiallahu anhu, whom the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says to him, I have seen that the devils of the human beings and the devils of the jinn, they run away from you, Umar. Not a slave to his desires, not a slave to money. Shaitan was afraid of him. That is what a man looks like. Manhood is a title of responsibility and duty. Khalid radiallahu anhu was a man who said that on the battle of Mu'tah, 9 swords crumbled in my hand. And no artillery was able to show patience in my arm other than a bit of ironwork that I received from Yemen. And Umar radiallahu anhu had to demote Khalid and take him off from his position because he was an unstoppable might in the cause of Allah, that people began to forget that victory is not from Khalid, victory is from Allah. That is what a man looks like. Not someone appearing behind a video with rented money, rented apartment, rented jewelry. I don't want to say rented women as well. Manhood has nothing to do with alcohol, has nothing to do with sleeping around, has nothing to do with moving the kilos, has nothing to do with running the fields. That's not manhood. Manhood is about knowing that Allah has rights. Mom and dad have rights. My siblings who look up to me have rights. My masjid has rights. The Muslim community have rights. The non-Muslims have rights. My lungs have rights. My liver has rights. My soul, my health, my mind, my money has rights. And a man is the one who realizes this and gives every one of them their due right, beginning with the King Allah Jalla Jalaluhu and moving down to people. As for boys, they see nothing but their mirror reflection and they pursue nothing but their desires.